Welcome back and thank you for watching. If you're new, please like, subscribe, and share if you like this content. Today we are talking about Matthew chapter 13. Jesus doesn't perform any miracles for a change. Isn't that interesting? We're actually going to start with the very last verse in Matthew chapter 13. Verse 58 talks about him going to Jerusalem, his hometown, and it says he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. Okay? This is slightly different than the original story in Mark's gospel, which says that he couldn't perform any miracles because of their unbelief. There's a bit of a difference in not being able to do something and choosing not to do something. The rest of Matthew is just a bunch of parables. And the one that I want to focus on right here is Matthew chapter 13, starting at verse 10, when his disciples come to him and they ask him, "Why do you speak in parables?" And Jesus says that the knowledge of the mysteries of the kingdom has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever will be given more will have an abundance. Whoever does not, even what he has will be taken from him. This is why I speak in parables. They see, but not see. They hear, but don't hear or understand. Huh? Kind of sounds a little confusing, right? Now, this is to fulfill a prophecy from Isaiah, chapter 6, which says they will be hearing but never understanding, seeing but not perceiving. And it goes on, and then at the very end it says, and otherwise they would understand with their hearts and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. Truly many prophets and righteous men long to see what you see, but they did not see it. And hear what you hear, but did not hear it. What's going on here? Sounds like a bunch of nonsense, right? Now, before we go any further, I want to remind you what prophecy is in the Tanakh. From a Judaic standpoint, it's when God gives a message to the prophet that he delivers to the people that is for the current generation. It could have a prophecy about a future generation, but it must have a prophecy for the current generation. And it's always very clear, plain and simple. There's no hidden meanings. Okay? And that's why Isaiah chapter 6 is very different. Of course, Isaiah is a very big and complex book and very hard to comprehend. But we're going to look at chapter 6 here for a minute. Now, if you're not familiar with Isaiah at all, it consists of 66 chapters, and only about a half a dozen of them are actual historic chapters. For example, when you open up the book of like Jeremiah or Judges or something like that, it's going to say, "Hi, my name's Jeremiah, and here's all I seen and heard." And it starts with what's going on. In Isaiah, though, it's different. The first 5 chapters are not historical, and the first chapter that has like historical relevance is chapter 6. And it tells us right in the beginning that it's the year that King Uzziah died. Now, if you want to get a little bit of a backdrop of that, you got to go to 2 Chronicles, chapter 26. What happened to King Uzziah when he died? Why? What's going on? We're not going to get deep into that, but in order to make this long story short, in Isaiah, God's very angry because he keeps rebuking the Israelites and they keep screwing up. So he's going to give them a prophecy, but unlike most prophecies, 99% of them, where they're very easily understood, in this case, he's going to tell Isaiah to give them a prophecy that they're not going to understand, so that they do not redeem themselves. Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? But there's a reason for this. I guess the best analogy would be like the person who's like a drunk driver, something like that, and somebody keeps bailing them out, and then finally, after a few times, they say, you know what, let him spend the night in jail. Let him feel the ill effects of his actions. And that's what's going on here in chapter 6, and at the end, Isaiah says in chapter 6, well, how long is this going to go on? He says, until the cities lie ruined. Okay, this is till, so that means until the exile and the return from Babylon. Anyway, so that's where Jesus is getting this prophecy of seeing and not hearing and understanding, not understanding.